It was a cold December night in the small town of Oakwood, Michigan. Heavy snow was falling, covering the quiet suburban streets with a layer of pristine whiteness. In her cozy home, 42-year-old Sarah Harrison was getting ready for bed, unaware that her life was about to take a terrifying turn. Sarah's 8-year-old son, Timmy, had been put to bed an hour earlier. As she walked upstairs, she suddenly heard a faint noise coming from the backyard. Curious, she looked out the window, but saw nothing but swirling snow. Thinking it was just her imagination, she continued on to the bedroom. Just as she was about to fall asleep, Sarah heard a loud crackling sound coming from Timmy's room. With her heart pounding frantically, she rushed to the door and swung it open. To her horror, Timmy's bed was empty, the window was open, and the curtains were fluttering in the cold wind. "Timmy!" she screamed, frantically searching the room, but her son was not there. He had vanished without a trace. The police were immediately called and a full-scale search began. Neighbors joined in, scouring the neighborhood for any trace of the little boy. But after hours of intense effort, Timmy was still nowhere to be found. As the days turned into weeks, the case became increasingly empty. Investigators explored every possible theory, but they all led to dead ends. The community was shaken to the core, and Sarah was overcome with grief and despair. 6 months later, the denouement came in the form of a startling discovery. A hiker exploring a dense forest near the town came across the remains of a child. DNA analysis confirmed that the remains belonged to Timmy Harrison. This news stunned the entire town, but at the same time sparked a new determination to find out what happened to the boy. The police stepped up their investigation, determined to get to the bottom of it. After weeks of painstaking forensic work, a disturbing picture began to emerge. It turned out that Timmy's case was not an isolated incident. Several other children had gone missing in the Oakwood neighborhood over the past decade, all under similar circumstances. As the investigation deepened, authorities realized a shocking truth. There was a serial abductor and killer operating in the neighborhood who had been preying on the most vulnerable members of society for years. The hunt for the killer intensified, with police working around the clock to piece together evidence and identify the perpetrator. As the investigation progressed, it became clear that the killer was someone close to the victim who had blended seamlessly into the Oakwood community. Finally, after months of relentless pursuit, the police came upon a suspect, a respected local teacher named Mr. Johnson. A search of his home uncovered gruesome evidence, including the personal belongings of several missing children. Mr. Johnson confessed to the crimes, revealing a twisted and disturbing motive. He kidnapped and murdered Oakwood children because he believed they were a burden to society, and their disappearance should have gone unnoticed in the small town. The community was shocked by the revelations, and the families of the victims found little comfort in catching the killer. The pain and grief they had to endure would never heal. As for Sarah, the loss of her beloved son Timmy was a wound that would never fully heal. She had to live with the realization that her child's disappearance was not an isolated incident, but part of a larger and more sinister scheme. The Oakwood killer had taken her son, and she would never see his bright, smiling face again. The story of the Oakwood killer serves as a stark reminder of the horrors that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most seemingly idyllic communities. It is a cautionary tale of the unimaginable tragedies that can occur when the most vulnerable among us are targeted by those who wish to do them harm.